we going live? We got it. Okay. It's always a question. Are we actually going to make this work today? Awesome. So hi, everybody. Anybody who's watching this, I'm really glad you could see this because this is, I think, such an important thing to be aware is possible in our world today. And when we watch something like this, or when we hear it, the stories, our mirror neurons kick in and our subconscious starts to realize that this is possible. And if it's possible for someone else, it's possible for me. That's what your subconscious is thinking. So we're reprogramming your subconscious to a new level of empowerment and being able to transform your life in the most positive ways. So I have with me today my spouse, Jamie. Wave, Jamie. And we also have with us our friend Jess Logan. Hi, Jess. And maybe Jess has Collie here. Is Collie here as well? Somewhere in the background?
She's downstairs, but I can go get her. I will get her. That was what I forgot.
Oops.
She's like very happily just sort of resting on the carpet.
That's nice. I hate to disturb her.
Well, we'll see how does she is. I'll just send a message to my daughter to bring her up.
Okay, cool. And then I think it would be nice if people actually got to see her in person. And I don't know if you have pictures or something. Oh, that's what I was going to see, if I could arrange pictures or videos or something so we could share that with people so they could see the before and the after. So anyway, here we are. And what we are going to do today is hear the story of Jess's little furry buddy named Callie, and what she's experienced. So do you want to start, Jess, with maybe just giving us a little bit of background about Callie, like who is she and how old is she and what was the situation?
Callie's on her way. My daughter's bringing her up. So you'll see this door open in a moment. Callie is 4. I wanted to get a little buddy for a couple years. I was with
Oh, what a sweetie. Hi, Callie. Hi, Jess's daughter.
She's got a fresh haircut just for her international debut.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, she feels so heavy right now. It's so funny. Normally she is like very light. I think she gained a little bit of weight. We've been making her rest a little bit more, but that's not a bad thing. So I was asking my spouse at the time over and over for a dog, and he was like, it's not the right time. It's not the right time, forever. And then I guess I bugged him enough and he's like, do whatever you want. So I did. And he came home from work one day and I was like, he was like, what is that? I'm like, I bought a dog. And so that's this Miss Callie, and she's 4. And you can tell she's my buddy.
Yeah.
And
such a tender.
I just love her so much. She's so special. She's so special to everyone. She's a bit funny when you meet her at first. In the real world, she's really super duper into barking. And I always joke. I always say, like, have you ever met someone and when you first meet them, you're like, oh, that person's kind of an asshole. But then for whatever reason, you're like forced to get to know them. And you're like, oh no, they're just a little anxious. So that's Callie in a nutshell. She's a very picky eater. She's picky on where she wants to sleep. She's like picky on her people. She wants to be held and hugged a lot. She doesn't want to go on too long of a walk ever. At some point, she will just sit down. Yeah. I'm good. You may carry me now.
The princess.
She's been carried in my coat more times than I can count. it's hard to tell on the internet, but she's not too big of a lady. She's about 13 pounds.
So, Jess, what was the situation with Callie when you first talked to Jamie about it?
Well, Callie's always been a little particular, like I said, about taking a long walk. She also doesn't love stairs. She wouldn't jump up on the bed. She wouldn't jump up into the car, jump down from things. And so I had the dog walker come on a day that I had a long day at work, and I was just adjusting to longer days. So I was having a dog walker come just as a preemptive sort of solution, And she said, I didn't walk the dogs for very long because Callie didn't seem she seemed like she was hurt. And I was like, she's faking. She's just like that when she doesn't want to go for a long walk, And then I got home really late from work that night. And then in the morning, I went to take her for a walk. And I was like, what the actual heck? And so I called the vet immediately because she could barely walk. Her back was all arched. Her tail was curved down, but not in a way that she was doing it. It was stiff. She just wasn't herself at all. And so I took her to the vet, and they said that I'm touching your ear. You don't like that. Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. They said they weren't totally sure without an MRI what it was. And an MRI is 2 hours away, and it's $2,000. So that's not in my budget just currently. I love Callie so much. But that's how much my rent is. So that wasn't a possibility. And so that was Thursday. And so actually she got worse from there. Sorry, I didn't actually know that this was going to be hard to talk about. So, so she couldn't pee. She couldn't poop. I had to hold her in a certain position. I had to express her bladder for her. I had to carry her. We got her special wet food so she could take pain meds, because she couldn't chew hard food. The vet was really compassionate, and they never made me feel guilty for being well, I can't go and get surgery because I can't even okay, if I get the MRI, that means after that, the next step is surgery, but if I get the MRI, then it's just information that I'm not going to do anything with, So they didn't make me feel bad. They were very compassionate, and they started talking about euthanasia. And so.
And that was a hard no for you.
No, so that just did not feel good in my body. I have such a strong relationship with my intuition as well. And as upsetting as the whole situation was, and as stressed out as I really was from the whole thing, I was my commitment to my intuition over the past 2 years has been my number one kind of faith practice. And so I sat down and I just had Callie in my lap, and I was just petting her. And we have another dog named Jessie, who is Callie's pet. Jessie's a little bigger than Callie. He keeps her in good shape. He bugs the shit out of her. They fight, they play, they love each other. And he was aware that she was not feeling well as well. And so I sat down, I was petting Callie, and I was just kind of going to that space inside of myself, where you can drop a pebble in a pond or whatever. I don't know, people do it all differently. And I'm just okay, this is not for me. Euthanasia is not for me. This is not where we're going with this. What's next? What's next? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And I just kept, I just kept repeating that mantra. And I heard very clearly, make a miracle. That's it. It was just boom, make a miracle. I was fucking easy. I know 1,000 people that do Reiki. No problem. That is already done. Let's make a miracle. So I posted on Facebook. I was like, yo guys, this is my dog Callie. And I posted a photo of her playing at the beach. I didn't post a photo of her sick or a video of her sick or anything. I posted a video of her, or a photo of her at the beach. Like, can we just all envision Callie healed? And so what ended up happening was I started getting messages, and I posted a couple times. I started getting messages from people. People started physically coming to my house to sit with my dog and just pet her.
Yeah.
Just be like, Kelly, I love you so much. You're such a good girl. Yes, you were a good girl. And just pet her and just love on her. Even when I was at work, like my ex-fiance, who is her dad, basically, he went to my house when I was at work one day and just sat with her for 40 minutes and then walked the other dog, you know? And then a couple days after that, I had a call with Jamie scheduled. And I noticed that the day after, so it wasn't the same day, but it was the day after I had said, like, we're going to make a miracle. That's what's happening. Let people do a miracle with me. I was sitting with Callie doing Reiki on her every day, was patting her, just like seeing her at the beach. You know, she doesn't like love the beach. She loves it because it smells weird, but she does not like swimming, and she's horrified when I swim. So the whole thing is hilarious. Like barking at me like, Mom, what are you doing?
You're getting wet.
Don't you know that's dangerous? Stop. It's very, very funny. She's so funny at the beach. And so this is what I was picturing. And she was in her crate a lot. So to protect her from like Jesse accidentally playing with her because he's one, and just like to keep her contained because we thought it might be like a back injury, you know? And so she was in her crate a lot. And the first thing I noticed was one morning we woke up and she hadn't pooped in her crate. So because she couldn't poop, and her digestion was just going, her poop was just coming out. Like, you know, just little dry things in her crate in the morning, typically. So the first thing I noticed was we woke up one morning and that hadn't happened.
Wait, Jess, have we skipped to after the work with Jamie?
So I didn't even know, to be honest, Jamie was doing this. So this was like 2 days after I asked everybody. And
I want to ask Jamie to chime in before we get too much further. I want to ask Jamie to chime in and see what was going on and what she was doing exactly. And just to be clear, or I don't know if I can fit this in, if I can go back into a Facebook Live and edit or anything, but I'm going to try to find one of the pictures of Callie that you sent with her, you know, in one of those little doggy wheelchair units that she had to get around in, so everybody can see like what it was like for her to be living in that kind of a situation.
So that was actually an improvement. That day that I sent the photo to Jamie of Callie in the doggy wheelchair, I was fucking stoked. I was actually happy. That was totally fine with me. I was like, no problem. This is fine.
Oh, I thought that was the before picture.
No, man, it was worse before that. That was actually totally fine with me. That was fine with me. She was worse before that.
Oh my God.
She was in too much pain to even try something like that before that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what you must have gone through.
I was so upset. I was so upset. So I'm pretty professional with my work. Like I'm very personable and I can bring the parts of myself that I need to bring to whatever job. But I work in a professional environment outside of my life coaching, and I'm a supervisor. And so I'm professional Jess there. And people were like, are you okay? And I was like, my dog is really sick right now. So people could just tell. So like, that's how upsetting it was. Is she was really like the wheelchair. That was like that was an improvement. Honestly, I was stoked about that. I was like, cool. This is her life? No problem. Easy. Too easy. No problem.
That's crazy. All right. So Jamie, how did you get involved in this and what made you decide? I don't know if you got like a message that you should do something like this or how did you get involved?
Well, I didn't see Jess's post that she posted about Callie. I didn't know all that was happening, but when we spoke during a coaching call, Jess told me all what was going on with Callie. And so that night I decided to start working on Callie.
That was
And
the Thursday night.
yeah. And
Okay.
and then the next day I wrote Jess and said, I started working on your dog last night. And that's when Jess sent me the pictures of Callie wagging her tail. Because
Okay.
when I was working on her, that's all Callie wanted to do was wag her tail.
So stop and back up a little bit. And so you decided you were going to work on Callie. Is there any way that you can convey what you actually do when you say, I'm going to work on something?
It's a lot of things that would be interpreted as symbols, but basically it was opening up the channels in the spine and opening up all the neurons as they go down and opening up all the blood vessels as they go down and just
In Callie.
in Callie and just strengthening them. And because Callie, all she wanted to do was wag her tail, I went all the way to the end of her tail. And that's
So
what she wanted.
how do you know that that's what she wanted?
I don't know. This is
Because
funny.
Callie is very good at getting her needs met and her mind known. She's a very direct communicator.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows who's watching, this is really outside Jamie's wheelhouse to start talking about this stuff. When I got together with Jamie, she was like so unwoo. It was really
no woo.
I had no idea she was going to turn into this incredible healer and light worker and going and doing, she does all of her work, most of her work at night. And it's just the stuff she's doing is crazy. So it's hard for her to talk about. She's not used to finding words for this. What I remember is you saying that you went in to see Callie and she was laying there in her kennel,
in her crate,
and she communicated to you that she, like, what did she communicate to you?
I think it was more of a visual image than words or dog words even.
Yeah,
and
you work in visuals.
Yeah, I work in visuals. So it was a visual image of her thumping her little tail on the ground, and that's what she wanted.
Awesome.
So that's what I worked on that first night. And then because I'm so new to this, I felt kind of weird going to Jess's house and in the energy realm and working on her dog. So I wrote her immediately the next day to say, I was there, I was working on your dog. I hope that's okay.
And I was like, of course it's okay. I literally asked everybody for this help. Like, I knew that we were going to make a miracle. That was like what I heard. We're going to make a miracle for Callie. She's not done. I'm not done with her. She's not done with me. She's not done with all the people that she loves so much. She loves people so much. Honestly, when she sees you in person, Jamie, she'll like bark whine at you. Yeah. She'll just be like, oh.
She liked that. Okay, so you wrote to Jess. What's the next part of the story, people?
Jess was okay with me going to her house and working on her dog, and that she was perked up a little and wagging her tail, and I didn't know the thing about the not pooping. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was the first day that she hadn't pooped like accidentally, which she hates, by the way.
Yeah.
She hates that stuff. She's such a princess. She absolutely hates it. And like having to help her poop, like she was horrified by me having to hold her in position. She was horrified by me having to express her bladder. Like she was
mortified is the word. She was mortified.
It was. She did not appreciate that. Like obviously it needed to be done. Right. But she did not appreciate that as an experience in general.
So what you noticed, the first thing you noticed was that she didn't have an accident in her crate.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then her tail, so her tail was like stiff and down. And so the bottom part was still kind of down, but the rest of her tail could move. So the end of her tail wasn't quite like unfrozen, but the rest of her tail was kind of unfrozen. So she could kind of move it. It wasn't like exuberant like normal, but and the next thing I noticed was that she was getting really jazzed about her food. So we got her this like special wet food just to make everything easier, right? And she was getting more jazzed about it. So I used to home make her dog food because she's a princess. But then Jessie would steal it from her, so I had to stop. But this is like a different situation. I was like, okay, so she has her food in her crate, you know, and she's like getting excited about it again. And honestly, I think the food has actually been like, if we take away from this whole situation that she needed this different food, her digestion since then has actually been way better. So
I'm sorry, I didn't really follow what you mean.
Like the vet gave me wet food because she needed to take all this medication, but she wasn't eating. She's never been a fan of kibble. So I have this wet food for her now that she's interested in, that she will regularly and reliably eat twice a day. That's recommended by the vet. So like my homemade food doesn't have all the little micronutrients that dogs are supposed to have in their food, right? It was literally just chicken, rice, sweet potatoes, and carrots cooked in the crock pot. And then I turned into little frozen balls so she'd like chew them. Okay, I'm a psycho dog mom over here. So this wet food situation has actually really improved her quality of life in general because her poops and her digestion are way better, and she has more consistent energy now too from switching. So, you know, every part of this, even though it was super traumatic, has just ended up being really supportive. You know, and am I allowed to say the other things?
Yeah. What other things? Sure.
Well,
of course.
So I experienced PMDD. So if nobody knows what that is, it's like PMS and Godzilla had a baby with depression. It's super
that sounds bad.
It's really unfortunate. And I know lots of women struggle with this, and mine had just got worse over the last year. And I swear that, like, well, Callie's, as you can see, you can tell she's my person. Like, what other dog do you know will just sit in someone's arms for this length of time? She's completely relaxed and happy.
Yeah.
This is my familiar. This is my person. You know, and I swear that when Jamie started working on Callie, it also worked on me and started changing me. So I've been doing all kinds of shit to try and like feel better from this PMDD stuff. And for about a year, I just haven't really felt like myself. And I would say for the first time in a year, about a week and a half after Jamie started working on Callie, I actually had a day where I felt like myself. And it's not been all day, every day, all the time, but it's been like a corner has turned almost, where most of the time I feel like myself. It's like some weird fog was in front of me or something was there and I just couldn't see through it, or like it was weird. And I felt like I was crazy. Because everything that I tried, everything that the doctor said, or that this person said, or that professional said, or whatever, everything, if it helped one thing, it made another thing worse. And so Callie walks now. She's still her little princess self with her long walks are not a thing. You know, unless they're interesting. To do an interesting long walk, but like a sidewalk long walk is not her thing.
Well, before we get too far ahead, let's because it was a process, right? Like that was the first night. All right. And then so what happened from there? Jamie, do you want to take it from there?
So then the second night, Callie wanted to jump up on Jess's bed. That was all she wanted to do. So I started working on her movement, so working on her legs and the neurons down her legs and getting her to get the muscles working again. And it's all what I do is working at night in an energy field, so the things I could talk about would be energy things and they wouldn't make sense. They'd just be symbol things. But that's what she wanted. And then the next morning, Jess sent me a video of Callie.
Actually walking, like
Yeah.
not a ton of weight bearing at first on the back legs,
No.
but actually walking for real.
Yeah.
Wow.
And peeing. She could pee
Yeah.
by herself.
Yeah, Jess sent me a video of her dog peeing.
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay, what? This is so weird. But I was so happy and so in tears. Like this is real. This is actually real. It's not just in my imagination. These weird little things. And at the time I didn't know all the side effects that were happening to Jess, all the side benefits. Like,
No,
holy
I
shit.
literally just told you the other day. Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So as in context, again, for everyone who doesn't know Jamie or doesn't know this about her, which is everyone in the world except for me, Jamie's done this work with numerous dogs. And
Yeah.
every single time she's like, oh, that was really cool. The people are really thrilled that this massive change has happened, but I don't know if it was really real. So this what I love about Jess's story is it was really clear. Like the dog was essentially paralyzed, right? And the vet said there was nothing that they could do without maybe this really expensive surgery that may or may not help, as I understand it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right. The surgery wasn't a guarantee either.
No.
And the only real thing they were aiming towards, it seemed like, was kind of like, it's time to let her go.
It's time to think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which no pet mom wants to do. Like,
And no, especially not like she's only 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's only 4.
just getting to the good part.
I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
So that
So-
was on, I'll just tell you the exact dates. So Jamie started working on Callie on the 6th
Mm-hmm.
Of November?
of October.
October. Oh, right. Okay. It's been a while.
And then I'm 99% sure that I went back to the vet on the 12th.
Oh,
That's-
right.
Yeah.
I have an appointment here in my calendar. It says I went to the vet on the 12th and they saw Callie and they were like, weird. Let's just keep going with the pain meds. That's fine.
But
And
what did they say actually? Like, how did they explain the shift that had happened for her?
So at that time, it would have been hard for the vet to see in a few minutes the big difference, right? Because I wasn't letting her, I wasn't letting her walk on the floor all over the place, right? And even though she was having improvements, like in her functionality, she was still very, very numb. So on the 12th, the vet actually used, forceps to pinch Callie between her toes on her back legs to prove to me that she couldn't feel her legs, even though she was moving them.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, wow, that's traumatic. Maybe you could stop. And then I brought Callie in to get a refill of food. I think I just wanted more food for her or something because she likes it on the Monday, which was the 17th. But I was like, I'll bring Callie just to show them how great she's doing. The vet was in tears. That vet doesn't even know Callie that well. She's only knew Callie for this instance. We normally go to that vet clinic, but we see somebody else. But because we went in kind of as an emergency, we just got who was available. And sorry, you want it like this. Okay. And Carolyn, the front desk lady who knew Callie since Callie was literally 8 weeks old. I brought her in the day I got her to get her checked out. She like held it together while she was on the phone with whoever she was on the phone with when I got there. But within 2 minutes of me getting to the vet office, literally everybody in the building was sitting on the floor crying, saying, "This is a miracle. Oh my God, Callie, you're such a good girl. Look at this." And I said to the vet, the vet's like, "What did you do? Did you go see the chiropractor? Did you go do this? Did you go do that?" And I said, "No, 100%. I called everybody I could to feel like I was doing something, because part of me needed to do something, even though I knew this miracle was out of my hands, and I knew that me asking for the miracle was my work, that my ego clearly needed to do something. So I was calling people like, 'Hey, can you help my dog?' Like the chiropractors or whatever." But I told her, I said, honestly, one of my friends did energy work on Callie 3 nights in a row. And I think that, combined with all the love and all the prayers and all the support that Callie's been getting, it's honestly, we made a miracle. She's like, energy work, like Reiki? I was like, kind of like that. And she's like, whatever works. But the vet, before I said, the vet's like, "Oh my God, it's a miracle." I'm like, literally exactly what I asked for.
Yeah. The importance of asking is I think part of a big part of this story. And another big part of this story, I think, is just you committed to that. And
oh yeah, there was no other option. I was like, this is what's happening. I knew it. I knew it was happening. I didn't know how. I think that's part of miracles, though. You just don't know how necessarily.
By definition, you can't know how. But a lot of people will go, "Oh, I wish this would happen," or "I'm hoping this would happen," or "I'm praying for this to happen." But there's a big difference between that and saying, "This is going to happen. This is happening. This is the only result I accept."
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, Jess, you were like, "This is happening." And then everyone got on board with you. Okay.
It's true. Everybody, including Callie and including Jesse, including the kids.
So now, so you've seen a shift over time. How is she now? Like, what's her life like? What's her life look like from being stuck in a crate and kind of immobile and not being able to feel her feet and feel her legs? Where is she now?
So she's back to fighting with Jesse and annoying us every time we try to take a quiet, relaxing break in the living room. Because they fight, and she does this like weird bitey, growly, talking to him thing. It's very, very funny. And it's very noisy.
Play fighting, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And she's eating on her own. She's eating kibble again, as well as her other food, but she's choosing to eat some kibble, which is interesting to me because she's never really been a fan. I just always kind of assumed that she ate it because she knows that she's not supposed to starve to death, but so she's been eating kibble. She's been eating her wet food. She's been having her little walks. She's been back to sleeping in my daughter's arms. Like she's my daughter's stuffed animal, which has been there. Sorry, you don't want me to touch that part. And admittedly, we ran out of pain meds on Sunday, and she hasn't had any since then. So I'm just kind of seeing how that goes.
She doesn't need any more.
Yeah, I'm not sure that she does. Like sometimes I notice that she seems like she's in a bit of pain. So I'll put her in her crate. And it's mostly like they went to the groomer yesterday. So Jesse wants her to smell like him. You can imagine his function. Of how to get that to work.
No.
But I'm like, that's gonna hurt her. Stop it.
Yeah.
So they're taking turns being in their crates in the crate right now because of the compulsive humping that Jesse likes to do after they go to the groomer. But she went to the groomer, and I just let the groomer know, like, she can't totally weight bear. Like one of her back legs doesn't bear weight super duper well. But it's so funny because I almost think she's kind of always had this. Like how she is now isn't much different or really any different maybe it's even a tiny bit better than what she was before. I just assumed she was being dramatic or whatever, but I think maybe she's always had like a little something funny with her back or whatever, because she's always kind of a bit funny with that one leg, like especially
Jamie,
when weather changes or whatever.
Jamie,
So
you need to go back in for that leg.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that Jamie and Callie have an ongoing relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Keep on.
Callie sometimes comes with me when I'm working on other people. Just shows up. Hello, I'm here to help you. We're gonna work on this person.
She's one of your converts now. She's like, that was so great. I'm gonna help do more.
Yeah.
And
She's
Callie's
funny.
always been amazing. Like obviously I picked her because of her face. She has such a smart face. Sometimes she's too smart for her own good. Like I've a couple times found her pills just perfectly spit out in her crate. Like that was embedded in a pill pocket, embedded in your food.
Yeah.
that's talent.
Yeah. I'm like,
Not necessarily the right talent, but that's
not
Okay.
necessarily the right talent. Yeah, Erin.
so she's playing, she's moving, she's eating, she's going to the bathroom. She has
Walking,
her
she
life
even
back.
went swimming.
What?
She went in the water and she was like, oh, this is probably a little bit too cold, but like, it's not terrible. And then she got out and then she was like, oh, wait, that was kind of nice. And she went in again and she came out. Normally she would avoid water like the plague. Like she's being really weird. Like she's so good. Look at this. Just sit here with me.
A sweetheart she is. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
She
wait.
is your
maybe do
dog.
this. Callie, can you say hi? Do you want to say hi? You say hi. Oof. You say hi? No, she won't do it.
She's been
You're
working.
like
She was
a-
working all night, so
Yeah.
she's maybe sleepy.
That's why she's so heavy right now. I'm like, God, how much do you weigh? Did you gain weight overnight?
Yeah.
And then just to check in with you, Jess, because I didn't know this other part that it was affecting you as well. It doesn't surprise me because I believe that our animals, our children, even our technology and vehicles and stuff, they express what we are stuck in. What we can't fix, they take on, not even consciously, but they take it on. And I think to help us to try to lighten the load or maybe fix it for us or bring attention to it or something. So it doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know any of that part. How are you now? Like, did that continue to change for you?
Yeah, so I've been it's so funny that you say that because like I actually have a back problem around the same spot that Callie does. And while it's her left leg that I feel like I notice more, it's my right leg that's affected. And I have also had like similar symptoms, like I've had to like push on my tummy to help me completely express my bladder. I have to use a squatty potty, because of my back issue. So it's very interesting that you say that. There was some time there where I was noticing there was some weird shit going on. And then I just I honestly equated it to like what you said, like this feels like this is Callie's thing, like when she was going through the heat of it. But then now, like I said, like the biggest difference, and I know it's not measurable, so that's annoying for you, but I honestly feel more like myself. Like I haven't felt like myself in such a long time. And I had something like mildly traumatic happen last year, and I just assumed it was from that. And I've, had a few incidences of like things that kind of like emptied my bucket a bit too fast, and I got burnt out in the past year. And so I just kind of was like, it's just those things. And I just need to be better at self-care or whatever. And honestly, like I just feel like I just walked out of a fog. Like I don't even fucking know what I was doing for the last year. It's so weird. And like, I know I honestly had a lot of beautiful experiences. Like I went to Hawaii, I went to Vermont, I went to Cozumel, Mexico, I went to California, I went to Quebec, I went to Toronto. Like I've done a lot of really beautiful, wonderful things that I barely have memories of because it was like I was in a fog the whole time. And one of the most measurable things that I can tell you about how I feel right now is like I felt like going to the gym. That is actually like part of my personality. So I grew up dancing. I've always been a bit of a jock, even though I have my own physical problems. I'm still a jock. And I love being active, and like moving my body in all the directions is is my favorite thing. And I started going back to the gym. I even went yesterday. I was tired and sore from my previous gym escapades this past week. So I didn't do a whole lot, but I just went, and it was awesome. And honestly, like there's some like challenges, like actual external challenges coming up in my life right now. And I have the same sureness that I had about the miracle for Callie around them. I'm like, this is already done. This challenge is taken care of. Like I don't have to worry about this anymore. And that's how I normally am. So I know it's not measurable, and I do have to go in like 1 minute just to let you know. But that's what I noticed the biggest thing was.
Awesome. And how does it feel? How does it all feel?
Like, I think an old part of me would have said like, like the foggy part of me would have said like, oh, so like, no, like shame, grief, guilt, whatever. But I actually don't have any of that. I just feel present. That's it. Like,
Hey.
I'm not like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like, woo! I'm just like, yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
I can do that. You know? And so just not petting her the way she wants me to. She's so funny.
And
I'll work on that tonight with her.
and you have your dog.
Yeah, the sweetest girl in the whole world.
Yeah, she seems like it for sure.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh my
What other
God.
dog would sit here for 45 minutes? And
I
just
don't know.
held.
Let's
Yeah.
clone her though. I would like one of my own.
Look at how cute she is. Of course you do. She's so perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
Jess, I want to thank you so much. I don't know if there's anything else you want to end with, or anything you want to say to people who are watching.
Yeah, I know what like I asked Jamie how much this was and they wouldn't tell me. So I hope that they set some kind of price. Because I'd love to just be able, like, people asked me about this after, and I told literally everyone. I was like, I'm like 100%. My friend did energy work. Most people I said Reiki because I live in a small town. People don't totally understand everything. I was like, my friend did Reiki on my dog for 3 days. And like other times, but those first 3 days, we noticed a marked improvement every day. I'm like, I would recommend this to anyone. And I know lots of bougie dog owners. Like, I consider myself a bougie dog owner. I'm not bougie about anything. I'm bougie about my dogs. I love them. Like, their haircuts cost more than mine, you know? And so I would recommend it as a service just in general. And I also recommend Jamie as just like a human. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love you guys so much. I'm going to personally leave.
Yeah.
Just send me the link to this so I can share it too.
Okay.
Thank you, Jess.
Awesome.
I really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Jess.
Thanks,
Thank
Callie.
you.
So let's just take a minute to check over some, because what I wanted to say is she's calling it Reiki, and I understand why. A lot of people don't, and you don't have a name for what you do because you just found it on your own.
I call it night work, and it's just energy work, a lot of visualization, a lot of working with the energy and adding energy and just transforming things.
Yeah.
Is the easiest way to say it. Yeah.
And I know that what you do too is you receive a lot of information. Like when you didn't just go in and say, oh, this is what I'm going to do for Callie. You went to Callie and Callie said, I want to wag my tail. Right. And then
yeah, which is different from actually working out the physical of what was going on with Callie at the time. And I did that, but also seeing what Callie wanted to do, because that's important. Does she want something different? Does she want to, what does she want? And she wanted to wag her tail the first night, and she wanted to jump the second night. So and I've worked with her since. Like I check in with her a lot. She's a really neat kind of energy personality. And yeah.
so oh, there was a question I was going to ask you. I notice so it's a sort of a give and take process, that you're receiving information, you're sensing what's going on in her body. I've seen you do this with other people and other animals. Oh, that's what I was going to say. It's easier with animals, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Animals are just open and accepting and just bring it on. This is what I want. Humans are a little more difficult because they have free choice and free will, and they have a history, and they have programming and paradigms and everything that they come into the world with, and they may not just be as open and free with it, even though they may seem or feel that on the surface. So humans, yes, I can work with humans, and I've been working with them as well, with having really good results.
Yeah.
It's just different.
And I agree. I mean, we just get stuck, and we tend to, an animal, if you release a problem, it'll just move forward and it's free.
Yeah.
But a person,
and there was a cat.
There was
a cat I was working with too. Sorry.
Okay. But a person releases the problem, we often just pick it up again because we're used to it and we think we're still there, right? We're not so much in the present as an animal is.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of work that you do for the world. And I haven't really told a lot of people this. I've dropped little bits in my in the emails, the elevation emails that I send out to people, but I haven't really told them a lot about what's going on in the world and how you're doing, like what you're doing in the world. I don't know if you want to share that, or maybe we should save that for another time, or
let's save that for another time. It's basically working with the light and adding light and harmony into the world. But we can talk about that another time.
Why I wanted to bring that up is because, as Jess was saying, her physical situation improved, her emotional situation improved as you worked on her dog. There's so much that you've been doing in the energy field that I feel, that I can come to you and I can say, oh, I'm just feeling, today I'm just feeling overwhelmed, or I'm just feeling anxious, or I'm just feeling whatever it is. And you just go out there and you check and you go, oh, well, that's just a field somebody's pushing in, something's sending that out into the world. And then you just go in and you deal with it in your own special ways. And then I feel so much better. It's like the whole atmosphere is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Not just like in this house, I notice it, but also I'm noticing it just in the world as well, that it's really working. So this is my miracle worker, Jamie, my miracle working spouse. And I just wanted to share this all with you because there's magic out here in the world. There's more magic now. It's more accessible now than ever. And miracles can happen. Miracles are happening every single day for every single situation you could ever imagine. There are miracles happening, and you can have that too. That's the important thing. We're all meant to have that. You are deserving of the miracles. You are deserving of a beautiful, fantastic, joyful, free, enjoyable, wonderful life. And I hope it's right, just like Callie.
Just like
I
Callie.
hope that you got some of that from this today. Jamie, is there anything you want to say before we end?
Thank you for listening. Appreciate that.
If you want to get in touch with Jamie, let me know. Maybe I'll put a link. She's only doing this with certain people in certain conditions. What I mean is she hasn't just like launched something out into the world. She's just sort of working on a person by person, animal by animal basis. But if you want to reach her, we can help you do that.
Yep.
Have a wonderful day.
Mhm.
Claim your miracles, people, and we'll see
Mhm.
you again soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mhm.